Hello and welcome back to the AWS DevOps project. So in this video, we are going to do one thing in the EC2 server. We need to install Nginx, and we need to configure Nginx such that it passes the traffic from port 80 to the port number 8080 or 8080. Because this is the standard way how the production servers work, or how in the real world how things work. So on the EC2 we will be configuring an Nginx server, and then we will be configuring the port 80, and then we will be testing the port 80, and after that we will be taking an AMI again from that server, because that those things will not be available in the AMI, and when the AMI executes in the target group, then those things will not be available in the newly spun up EC2 servers. So for that purpose we will need to regenerate the AMI. Let's go to our AWS dashboard and see what's going on there. If you come to AWS currently, sorry, not AWS, the ASG or auto scaling group, you will see that I have made changes and the desired capacity is 0 and the minimum capacity is 0. That means I will be having no server running at this moment. And I have done this on purpose because I want to create an EC2 manually from the AMI that we created in the previous videos from this one, and I needed to show you this because this is also possible. Now I will be manually starting an instance from this AMI, and this is the way. So right click on this and launch AMI, and then name it, for example, AWS DevOps project, right? And then come to the AMI from catalog, and we need to select the AMI that we want to use. This is the AMI, AWS Devs Project AMI, that we created before, and we are creating uh, a small server from this T2 small. Key pair login should be the key pair that we use normally, AWS Devs Project EC2 key, and then select the security group. We should select the EC2 security group that we created, and the hard disk should be 20. Advanced, we don't, yes, we want one thing, that is the EC2 S3 role that we want to give it to this EC2 instance, and then launch the instance. Let's wait for this instance to launch, and then uh, when this instance launches, I will be continuing this video. By the way, you will be thinking why I'm doing this, but I will explain it later, why I am creating a manual EC2 instance from this AMI and not through the auto scaling group, and why is the auto scaling group 0 at this time. So let's wait for this to properly start this server, and then we will be uh, then installing Nginx and then configuring our ports so that the traffic passes to port 80, and from port 80 to that Nginx EC2, and then we configure the Nginx to properly pass the traffic to the NodeJs application that is running, and then we will be taking an AMI from this EC2, a fresh AMI, and then we will be linking that AMI to the launch template. So that will be another version of the launch template. We will be discarding this AMI, the current one, and launching a new one, so that we have the Nginx and all the softwares and all the configuration running already in this fresh AMI. So let's wait for the server, and I'll pause the video and then continue when it's launched completely. Okay, so the instance is running now, and please discard this instance because this is not a part of this course. This one is for my other course practice. So now you will be thinking that this EC2 is running and we can browse it through the load balancer, right? If you go to the load balancer, through this load balancer, if you click it and you copy the link here, copy this link, come here and paste it, it will give you 503 service temporary unavailable, and this is just a message from the load balancer. And you know why this is happening, because the EC2 that is currently running, we have manually launched it from the AMI, and this EC2 is not registered in the target group. You can confirm that from here. Target groups, go to target group, and then come to target. See, there are no targets here, because this behavior is only possible through auto scaling group. The auto scaling When the auto scaling group runs an EC2, it then registers it in the target group here, and then the target group is then linked to the load balancers, and the load balancer has a listener. This listener forwards the traffic to the target group, and that's how the traffic is passed from the load balancer to the target group and to the target, and then to the Node.js app, and that is why it's not working. So if you come here, see, this load balancer is not passing the traffic because this EC2 is not registered in the target group right now. And we want to test it in another way. If you go to instances and you click on the instance, copy the IP, come to PUTTY putty, and then uh, paste the IP here, go to authentications, choose the key, and choose the key that we created, this one, and open. You can now open this EC2. You can then log in, and you will see that our project is still running there because this is in the AMI that we saved already. If you go to root and ls, there is the project, and you can even check the PM2 status. And now the app is also running. You can see the PM2 logs of the project, which is, see, it is running on port 8008. If you go to the security group that we created for this EC2, I have made some changes to that EC2, that security group as well. So just to be sure, I have opened a couple of more ports, 8081 and 8083. This was for my own testing. And now I also have opened port 80, which is not in currently, which is not in use. But we also have a port 8008, which we opened very earlier when we were creating this. And um, you can browse this 8008 port through the security group of the load balancer only. We need to modify this just to see that if our app is running or not, the Node.js app. We can edit it, and we should remove this 8008 port, delete it completely, and create a new one. Custom TCP port 8008 again, and from anywhere, and then save it. Okay, now let's go and copy the IP of the server and come to a new tab, paste it here, and browse the port 8008, and it's working fine, right? And this is what I wanted to test. Now I mean, we are browsing the server, but not through the load balancer, directly through the IP. Now, how should we configure this server so that we don't have to put this 8008 port here, right? And we should only browse it like this. For this purpose, we need to install Nginx, and for that purpose, we need to go to the server. Let's go to the instances first, and then go to the uh, shell mode and break out from the PM2 logs, and we should install um, Nginx. And to install Nginx, we could install Nginx Ubuntu 2004, and you can see it here, the first link. Come down and sudo apt update, Go to the server, paste it here. Let's update the listing. You should wait for it. It's updated. Now sudo apt install nginx. Paste it, enter Y, and we should now install nginx. And I will show you the nginx path, which is you can go to cd slash etc nginx and ls and cd sites enabled, and then ls, and this is the default file for the nginx. And if you open it, let me make this window a bit bigger so that you can see properly. We can edit this file, sudo vim default, and this is the default file. Oh, this is the default file, see, and it has a few things. This blue color text that you are seeing is just the comments. We only are interested in the white color. This is the active code. But first let me delete everything. You can press D or hold D here and delete everything. And then I told you that I have two repositories that for you. One is the AWS DevOps project architecture, which has some commands here, and then another one is the application itself, right? So in the architecture, in the command stacks, I have put some commands there, some code and commands there. There I have also posted um, the the code for the nginx file. This code you can copy it, and you can come to the nginx default file and right click here, and it will be pasted. So this is that you are seeing is the server block, and this listens on port 80, and this is for IP version 4 port 80, and this is for IP version 6, but mostly the internet is on port on IP version 4. This is the client max body size. This is the allowed size of the server that can uh, that can serve in that amount. This is like 1 GB, right? 1 giga. So and then it looks for the root, which is var www html, then index, and this is the default index or index html. If nothing is found, then this will be browsed. And then we have two blocks, location and location IP, right? Now based on the URL path that we give to the browser, they one of these two will be browsed. If it's slash API, then the Nginx server will direct the traffic to this block, right? And this block has some proxy going on. The proxy is that whatever traffic comes here and it's forwarded to slash API, it will be forwarded to this proxy, and this proxy is running an 8000 localhost application, which in our sense we want to change. If you want to change something, come down on the arrows to the place and then click I mean insert, right? And change this port to 8008, which means the traffic that coming on port 80 will be coming to and having a URL slash API will be redirected to this port. Sorry, not this port, but this network or this application that is running on port 8008, right? And these are some, this is the version, and we have to uh, uh, these are some things that are supporting this whole proxy, right? So let's not go into very details to make it really simple. uh, we should now save this file and then come on this server on port 80, right? And with a slash API, right? So To save this file, now click escape, right? Click escape, then shift and double dot. See this one? This comes with the double dot. Shift double dot WQ, right? Write and quit. Enter. This file is saved now. If you go again, sudo vim default, this file will be again available. So right now, if we come on slash only on the URL, nothing will happen because we don't have anything running on port 3000. But if we come on port slash API, we have a running application on port 8008, which will be served. So let's go escape, double dot WQ, enter. And now we need to restart this Nginx server to be effective. And we can do the same again. Go, and you can come here and find a command, status, and here is the restart command, sudo systemctl restart nginx. Come here, paste it and restart it. Now go to the IP that we were browsing on, port 8008. Now browse it without that. Okay, let's see, refresh it. It still says bad gateway. We need to see what's going on there, but it will start working. Let's see, why is it not working? Let's see if we have the port open on port 80, and go to the security groups, right? EC2, this one, and see if we have port 80 open. Yes, we have port 80 open, but it is only on my IP. Let's change that, edit, and let's delete this completely and add another one, HTTP, which is by default port 80, custom, anywhere, and save it. Now it's saved. Let's go back again to the IP. It's throwing, okay. As I told you already that with a slash, currently it has a slash like this, but it's not visible, right? With a slash, we don't have any application running. If you go to the Nginx and edit this file, with a slash, now Nginx is serving these two blocks. With a slash, nothing is running. This port 3000 application is not running, but this 8008 is running, but it is on slash API. If you type slash API here, it is serving something, but it's not visible right now. Okay, let's go and check our slash API slash products. Okay, so let's see what is happening here. Okay, so let's go to the server and do one thing, sudo vim default, and then make this slash port 8008 and see what happens. Escape double dot WQ, and you can now come and without a port, yes, no, it's not working. Okay, still not working. Did we restarted it? Okay, let's restart it. Yes, it's working now. So that means that without a port, we have configured this application directly on this IP, and this was necessary because we don't want to give ports with the IPs. You know, I mean, it could work with the ports, but it's not a best practice, because how about if I want to serve another application on this same server, right? So what we did is that we created a block with a slash, and we should remove this slash API block. We should not use this. Maybe use it in some other way in future video, but for time being we don't need it. And let's, yeah, we only have this one block right now, this slash block, and this is serving the application that is running now, and you can verify it by not giving it the port. Now we need to do one more thing. We should come out of this, save it, restart the Nginx server and minimize this. Now because this application is now running on port 880, only 80, what we need to do is come to the security group and uh, come to the port 80 section, edit inbounds, port 80, and we should use it custom, and we should only accept the AWS DevOps project ALB traffic. We should delete this first and then add another one. We should use HTTP port 80 custom and the ALB traffic only, right? Okay, save it. And now if you browse it directly, it will not be serving you because we have told it to only leave the traffic from the ALB or the application load balancer. Okay, it's not working. Now go to the uh, because now we have configured an Nginx in the server, and we want to save this EC2 in some way so that we can relaunch the same EC2 again in future through through ASG or the auto scaling group. We should take another AMI of it, right? You can come here to the instances and then click on the instance, image, create image, and before this we need to copy the name here, this one, and we should call this new image v1.0, right? Copy the name, paste it, and then create image. Okay, the image is now create in the creation process, and we can verify here. This is our old image and this is the new image, and it's in pending state. Now this creation of image will restart the current EC2 that we are running, and when that AMI is created, the new one, then we will delete this EC2 and put the new AMI in the launch template configuration as a new AMI image, and then we will go to the auto scaling group and then increase the number from 0 to 1 for desired and minimum resources, right? Let's wait out. When this is created, then we will do these processes. Now see, I have been disconnected from the shell, see, because this is taking an AMI image and this EC2 instance need to be restarted. Let's see what's happening. Yes, it's now available. The new AMI is now available. Now we should go and delete the instance that we created manually. This one, go and terminate this instance, terminate. Okay, so this is now in shutting down stage. Now we should go to our launch template, this one, edit this template, modify template, and we should now come down to the AMI, my AMIs, and choose the one that is the new one, version 1, right? And then T2 small, everything should be the same, right? And create template version. Now if you go to the template versions, the current one, see the versions of this launch template, we have two. Okay, this one is created right now. You can check from the date and the time. Now we need to always select the newer version in the auto scaling group. If you go to auto scaling group, edit this, and if you remember, while creating the auto scaling group we chose version latest, right? So the latest is now 2. It shouldn't be default, it should be always latest. Okay, and now we should increase the capacity from 0 to 1 and minimum 1, right? And now let's do one thing. Uh, yeah, no, not in this video, but in the next video we will be increasing it to 2 because we want to deploy to multiple servers at the same time by committing something to our code, and it will be deployed to 2 servers, but not in this video because then this video will go too much longer. So for time being one, and then come here and update. Then it will, because currently based on this ASG we have no instances, so it's now updating capacity. It should spin up a server based on the new template, the new launch template version with a new AMI, and that AMI will also will have uh, an Nginx already running and the port configured. And then we will be doing one more thing. If you go to, because uh, now we have two options. The security group, if you go to the security group and check the security group here, uh, we are also passing the traffic from 8000 from port 8008 from anywhere. Okay, from on this security group, this port is also open to traffic from anywhere, and this is also open from port 80 from the uh, load balancer. What we want to do is that uh, we don't want to leave the traffic to 8008 anymore. We want the traffic to go to 80. But before going to port 80, we should modify the target group a bit. If you go to the target group and come here and edit this target group, um, let's see how can we modify this. Health checks, and it should not. Where can we modify this? Yes, we can go to target groups, then select the target group. Because it's now configured to pass the traffic to port 8080, we want to change that. We want to change the edit health check settings and come down, and we want to pass the traffic to port 80. Okay, because we have now configured our EC2 to on port 80. Save changes, and now we want to the targets, and we want to register the target on port 80 only, and this should be the target, include as pending below, registered pending target, and it should now see how many targets do we have. Okay, these are 2 targets. Let's recreate the target group and then attach it to the load balancer. Okay, because right now before we have configured the target group to check to pass the traffic to port 8008, which we don't want anymore, right? So we should delete this target group, and before that we need to create another target group here. Target group, create target group, instances, and then we should create a name similar like that. Create target group and target group port 80, IP version 4, VPC, health check, and the advanced health check should be override port 80. And then everything should be like that, and we should now select instance, this one, port 80, create target, no sorry, include as pending, create target group, and this target group is now passing the traffic on port 80. But this target group it in itself is not used in the load balancer. So we should go to the load balancer, listeners, and create a listener and add listener. Okay, we should first remove that listener, the old one, because then we cannot use the port 80 again. Go manage listener, delete listener, confirm, delete. Okay, we don't have any listener now. We should add a listener, port HTTP, and we should select a target group with this one instead of the previous one. We should select the port 80, wait 1. We should remove the tag, not use anything. We should not, we don't have any more things, so yeah, add it. Now this target group that we created for port 80 is now serving, and this has only, let's go, this has only one target right now, this one. If we refresh it, it says it's healthy. So now if we go to the load balancer URL, the traffic is going through the EC2. Refresh it, there you go. And now the traffic is passing from the load balancer to the listener to the new target group, which is on port 80, and then from the target group, which is this one now, port 80, this is unused. This port 80 traffic is passed to the port 80 traffic of the instance itself. And on instance, we have configured the Nginx, and Nginx is passing the traffic to the local application, the Node.js application, right? So this is uh, the whole sequence. I hope you didn't get confused where I created another target group with a port 80, because we don't want to use port 8008 anymore to pass traffic to the port 8008 of the instances. We only want to use port 80 and pass the traffic to the instance of to the instance port 80, and then pass it to the Nginx. We should remove this target group as well. Delete. Yes, delete. Okay, we only have now one target group which has only one instance running, and the target group itself is configured for port 80, and this port 80 traffic is passed to the instance port 80, and everything is working fine. Now if you go to the security groups, here is the security group. We can easily delete this port. Edit inbounds, delete this port, and leave the port 80 only from ALB, save it, and we will still be having the traffic passed to the application. So this video is a bit longer, but there are too many configurations. If you have missed a part, you should watch it again. But the whole purpose of the video was to configure the EC2 on port 80 through Nginx, and then configure the target group and the load balancer to pass the traffic from load balancer to the target group and then to the EC2, and use the port 80, which is a very common port for HTTP, and it makes life much easier for future. If we want to deploy more applications on the same server, we just need to pass the uh, traffic to the correct location block in the Nginx. If you go to /products, yes, there they are. So this is working fine. And in future videos, we will be using a real domain and SSL certificate. We will be configuring them along with different options on Nginx and Cloudflare and everything. So please keep watching, and see you in part 7 of this video series. Thank you and have a lovely day. Goodbye.